Okay, we're good, Paula. I'm sorry.
Good evening, everyone. This is Paula Fields Conyers. I apologize for being a little late. However, we can start this meeting. It's 6:08 p.m. and we're going to get started with who's first? Ismini. Hi, Ismini. How are you?
Hi, Paula. I'm fine.
That's
How are
great.
you?
I'm good.
Thanks for having us. And Larissa, who's one of our project managers, and Rosinda, who's our director of all of our marketing and outreach work, are on the call tonight.
Okay. Hi, ladies. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Thank you for coming on short notice.
Yes, thank you.
Glad
Okay.
to be here.
Okay. So we're ready when you are, Ismini.
So I think at the board meeting or the last committee meeting, we talked about setting up some workshops to make sure that that people knew. So let me just tell you where we are. Or Rosinda, do you want to tell folks where we are with the with getting ready to go out to the lottery on this project in terms of the what we've submitted to HGC?
What is the young
So
lady's
basically,
name? Excuse me. What is your name, young
Oh,
lady?
Paula, Rosinda, Rosenda, and Larissa, Larissa.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm
hello
sorry.
everyone.
All right.
Hi. So basically we already put out the notice of intent. We send all the marketing information to HDC. We're just waiting back on some rent confirmations. Once that's a go, they'll schedule our meeting, our marketing meeting. And then from there, we just have to load up everything, all the documents that are requested. And after that, we'll start with all the outreach, with all the marketing. But as far as that, we're sending out emails to people that are inquiring about the peninsula. So we have created a list of applicants, like future applicants, as well as we have a Monida project in the same area, whereas if the people don't get into Monida, we're going to outreach them as well. So we're creating a big list of people to outreach once this project goes live.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that once you put all your information and get the approval, that's when we could start the workshop and marketing on this project?
No. So Paula,
No?
that's when we can start the official marketing on the project, okay? So they're two different things, right? So we've done a lot of workshops on housing, about Housing Connect, you know, over the past few years. This year, not so much with the COVID stuff. But we can do the formal marketing is just when the lottery opens. I just sent to Ralph and Cynthia a flyer that we created that's a coming soon flyer that actually we are going to send to everybody. We're going to send this to Ralph and Cynthia so that they can get it to everybody on the community board. We're going to send it to the Point. We're going to send it to Urban Health Plan. We'll send it actually wherever you want us to send it, and we will send it out, as Rosinda said, to all of the folks that have said that they're interested. What we would like.
I just put the flyer up so people.
Oh, great.
Can see it.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So what I'd like to do with this flyer is, so that we're going to send this out just so it's like a, you know, it's like a save the date or whatever. We don't have the date when the lottery is going to open. What we can do with this flyer is, in fact, select dates when we would like to do some workshops, and then actually just, you know, put them on this flyer and then send that flyer out. Okay. So we were just, in order to get started without having picked the dates with you guys, we wanted to get this flyer ready and then out the door. So people were knowing to look for it. And then at the bottom of this flyer, you can see that there is, you know, there's actually information with both Rosinda's, you know, with the marketing, phone number and email and our office address. So this is just to save the date, um, uh, in terms of, well, it's a coming soon. And then I wanted to figure out tonight, and I'd like to do, we can start the workshops anytime. We can do them by, gusto naman mo para kayo. Um, uh, and, I'm sorry. And so we can start the workshops any time. We can start them before the official lottery starts. And I guess my question is whether you want to
As
pick those
Miss
dates. Yeah,
excuse me, Miss Meany,
yeah,
I have
yes.
a concern about that anytime word that you're using because it's a long well, it's not a long process. First of all, the location needs to be done. Second of all, the information has to get out there. But as said previously about the credit, that's a big, huge concern in our district. So we're really behind the gun
Well,
with this
Paula, can
project.
I have my
Paula,
hand raised. I don't know if folks can see it in the
yeah.
chat.
Yeah, but Charlie,
I,
I'm sorry. I was gonna let her finish her presentation, but I do
Oh,
All
acknowledge
right.
that the hand is up.
Yeah, so Paula, I just want to talk about the credit, and Lucinda can talk about this because, um, uh, first of all, HPD has made it very clear in their marketing guidelines that they just updated in August of this year, that credit is a very, uh, um, we do not Manny historically does not use credit as a way to reject people. We're extremely open-minded about
Okay.
credit, and HPD has taken our position probably almost to an extreme, okay, I would say, which,
I do realize that. That is correct.
okay, which is, they really, first of all, if someone um, shows 12 months of paid rent, uh, that actually is enough to pass the
Void the
credit
question.
problem. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Rosinda, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? And
No.
so basically, like this whole Manny has never used credit scores, okay, to reject anybody ever. Before the city, everyone used to do that. Everyone would get rejected. We've never used credit scores in my entire history as at Manny. The city now does not allow anyone to use credit scores. And then they have also really limited what credit, kind of whatever the definition of bad credit can be, where as long as you're paying your rent, your other bad credit almost doesn't even count. So we
Mm-hmm.
very rarely, and again, Rosinda, correct me if I'm wrong, we very, very rarely reject people for credit.
Correct. And they also
And
can
so,
provide their own credit check as well.
right, we don't run credit
Mm-hmm.
reports unless they do not have one or they have not shown
Mm-hmm.
us that they pay their rent. And then we have to run it so we can see what they pay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I hear you, and but I can tell you at Menida, I don't even know if we rejected anybody for credit. Um, I mean, it's just not the only times, the only things we reject people for in general. I mean, first of all, if people, and what we've tried, again, when we do the affordabilities, we really try to make sure we're as low as the city can get us to go with what resources they have. So we have people that might be below income, and so they might not qualify. Sometimes we have people that are over income, and or they, and again, over income sounds really weird because we're not looking at people making, $100,000, but sometimes there's gaps between the bands, and when there is, then someone might fall between the bands. Even when we reject them, we make sure they appeal, and as long as they're not manipulating the information to try to fit in the band, which people sometimes do, if they're not doing that and there's just been like they give us more information or clarify information, overtime hours or something like that, then we can actually recalculate them and try to keep them in the pool. So we're about getting to yes. and not rejecting people, basically, is really what's going on. So I think for me, the bigger issue is, in fact, making sure that every single person in Community Board 2 knows that this project is going to be up in the lottery. And then making sure that people get the help they need to either update their account in the lottery or create a lottery account.
Okay. So,
The other thing
yeah,
that's, Paula, let me just say one more thing and then I'll shut up. The other thing that HPD has done that was not the case, that was also new this year in their changes to Housing Connect. In the old days, like a year ago, once you submitted your application, if you didn't update your application prior to, let's just say 720 Tiffany is open, the lottery's open, and I go on Housing Connect and I check, I want to be in that lottery. Okay, that's how easy it is. Once you have a Housing Connect account, you just check the box. Once you did that, whatever housing application information you had in Housing Connect at the time that you hit the I'm interested, froze. It froze in place. And what happened is people were really freaked out. And what happened was, let's say you had lost your job, and so you're on unemployment. So when you had filled out your Housing Connect application, you were on unemployment. Well, if you're on unemployment, chances are if we open the lottery and you're number one, you're going to get a letter of rejection below income. And then you would have to appeal and say, no, I got my job back, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What the new system allows you to do is, even after you've checked off, I want 720 Tiffany, you have time until the lottery closes 60 days later to go in and update your information. Okay, so or people would be like, oh, I forgot to add my daughter, or I did this. So you're allowed to go into your Housing Connect account in real time and change and update your application until the lottery closes. And what that does, it doesn't change the world, but what it does is it reduces your chances of being
okay.
rejected for the wrong reasons.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for
Now,
that.
that doesn't speak to your point of, like, how do we get this information out there, picking places? We have a real issue. We talked with Maria from the Point on Monday. And the problem, and I said, Maria, I want to do a workshop with you on the peninsula side, and I want to do a workshop with Paloma on the other side, and other people, whatever. But I need to do at least, lots of workshops, but I'm just thinking at least two very soon. And so Maria said to me, we're not open. Okay. We're not, right now, we're still not open for events in our space. And I haven't been able to connect with Paloma to find out what her position is on this. So I would rather, we're totally fine with face-to-face meetings, okay? In-person meetings. We can do them in our community spaces, either at 739 Phoenix or at 700 Monida. Our new building has a really beautiful community room also. So if the Point isn't open, we can definitely do them in person at our spaces. And they're not huge, but they're not small. And then we find out from Paloma if we can do the other side, or if you might have ideas. The other is that we can actually go ahead and do them online, like really get the word out, and people can call in if they don't have Zoom, or get on Zoom, and we can go through the process. And then what we talked about with Maria at the Point is really actually making ourselves available. And the reason the email and the phone number are on here is we wanted people to make sure that they were actually opening Housing Connect accounts. And so, and really spending more time. So, number one, making sure everyone in CB2 knows about the project. And number two is making sure that anyone who's having any glitches with getting a Housing Connect account, we're helping them make sure that they're in.
Okay, because I was just trying to just from my perspective, assessing the situation, I don't know how successful a virtual workshop would be, but I think that we might miss a lot of people, and we could like miss a lot of people also with just getting the word out. But is this such a tricky situation? Because as you know, in the past, with our history with the workshops, some locations was like a little amount of people, but then some other location was like a whole bunch of people. You
Exactly,
understand? So
exactly. It really varied. Yep,
yeah, it
yep.
does vary. Okay, so you're more than on top of the game, and I really thank you for that. So I just want to make sure that everyone just gets a fair um shot, fair information about what's going on and how to apply for it. Thank you.
Yeah, so what do you think, Paula? What do you think? What would you like, we're here, the reason Rosinda and Larissa are on the call is so that you have more than just me, really,
Well,
more
have
staff
your
resources to put on this.
so Larissa and Rotunda, in your experience, have you tried a virtual workshop in the past since COVID?
We did do one, I believe it was for ANCP. We did do one.
How successful was that?
It was pretty successful. We had a lot of people applying and everything to the lottery.
Oh, okay. So then
Mhm.
I guess
So,
It was
nobody's
good.
yeah,
famous, Meanie. I mean,
Mhm.
we know the record for the in-person workshops,
Mhm.
but the
Mhm.
virtual is very new to all of us, especially this since the pandemic. So
Mhm.
I mean, now I don't, maybe we could if we can't get a space or a pinpointed space because
Mhm.
the vaccination is a big issue in the city for us.
right.
So we could try to probably do two virtual and just go for it. I'm stuck.
Mhm.
Like I don't know,
Yeah.
because of COVID, what is the best way. But I'm just really concerned that everyone, if we do the flyers and do the virtual and the marketing for it, that everyone gets a chance to attend. But how many people can be on a virtual workshop at one time? Do you know?
Oh, 100.
Oh, just 100?
No, no, it could be more than 100. A
Oh,
hundred.
okay.
I
All
think,
right.
with one platform, it's 100, but I think we have the platform that actually allows you to have more than that. So, we can make sure that there's no turn off. I think what I'd like
Okay.
to do is actually try to set up dates for the virtual, um, for the next few couple weeks, okay? And then see if they're successful
Uh-huh.
when we open the lot, and also just get this flyer out. So I want to take this flyer. I'll work with Rosinda and Larissa tomorrow. We'll pick two virtual dates, okay?
Okay. And so
And so,
the the
yeah, and
the the account. I'm sorry to interject.
yeah,
So the
no,
virtual account will be done by Manny, or will it be done by the board?
oh no, we were gonna do it. I mean, I'm happy for you to do it, but we can give you this flyer with that information and you guys can get it out to
Yeah.
whomever you get it out to, and then
Okay.
we'll get it out to like all the people that Rosinda said, and then we have like lists from our old workshops. We have and more people, we can send it by text so they get it on their phones, and we can send it by email, so they get it, and that way they can, and we'll do the Zoom in a way where there's both a call-in number and a internet connection, okay, so that people can get on either way. And I guess what that allows us to do, because we're not going to be open for the lottery until probably early November, so we have a couple weeks where we can try this virtual stuff and see what happens, and then we'll have 60 days from whenever it opens to really do either more. Virtual, or then really schedule some in-person ones and get and be there in person, plus dates either over the phone or in person to help people actually make sure their accounts are up to date and correct and that they've registered correctly.
No, the reason why I asked that is because I don't want the board to get any backlash with, when you do certain things, especially when it comes to housing events. People in the community that don't or didn't receive the information can say, "Oh, that wasn't fair because you let the management agency that's doing the project do the workshop, and that wasn't fair." That's why I was asking, because I don't want any backlash from anything. So if, you guys are doing it, we just got to make sure that the community is well aware of it. That's the only concern that I have as far as the board and your agency doing it.
Yeah, and this
Um,
is Larissa. One idea that I think about the virtual is if it's going to be virtual, we could also record the virtual meeting and potentially post it somewhere so whoever cannot make it to the specific virtual date or even in-person dates could still maybe see and hear what happened. Of course, the only thing missing from a recording would be the opportunity for a Q&A. But I still think it would be a helpful resource.
So, in that statement, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so then, with that being said, so the people who don't have access to the web um, virtual workshop, how would they be able to participate?
they would call. There'd be a number. There's a phone call and a internet. So the people can join a workshop either by phone. Like right now, you guys are calling. Rosinda and Larissa are calling in. They're not on their. They're on their phones. They're not. They're not on the Zoom. They just use the call number. So we've been doing workshops virtually for all of our homeowner activities throughout all of COVID, and we've had an absolutely phenomenal number of people join those calls. And we did them in the height of the pandemic. We did them during the day, and we can actually do daytime or evening. I think we would absolutely take all of our contacts, all of the community organizations, all of the schools, we can let them know, especially if the number of people can be, whatever, unlimited. Uh, then we can ask them to get the word out. Because so much stuff's been done virtually, I actually think people have much better like email networks than they've had maybe from before the pandemic. And so we might be surprised, but we can also we're not stopping. We're not going to do everything electronically. We will also drop flyers, okay, for these events, for the coming soon, and with the seminar dates on them. We'll drop them at locations.
Okay, so let's just say hypothetically that the person cannot, like they might have a bad connection with the calling, because I've had during these meetings, some people who call and have difficulty actually being heard or getting the information. So let's say hypothetically they weren't able to attend the virtual workshop and they weren't able to call in. Will there be a number for the people to know that if they cannot participate, they can call this number and get the information type thing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, and what we'll do, we'll make sure that during the workshop, we will articulate in case people can't see it, because the number is like on the flyer and it'll be in the workshop, but we will articulate the number several times throughout the workshop so that if you join early or you leave late, leave late, or you leave early or you come late, that you will have heard that number several times through the presentation.
Okay. Thank you. That seems quite thorough. I appreciate it. Are there any questions from anyone? I know Charlie, you had your hand up.
Charlie had his hand up and Bobby had his hand up, but Charlie had his hand up first.
Okay. Hi, Charlie. How are you? Welcome
Yeah.
back.
So I think I can't really ask a lot of questions specific to this project because I don't really know what the conflict of interest board says about this stuff, but I worked on this project while I was at EDC. So I just want to some degree, respect what I think could be a conflict. In any event, I think one thing I've learned through the years is like a lot of, and this meeting can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of these provisions of how the lottery is set up, who qualifies, who doesn't, like even to some degree, who's selected is sort of outside of the purview of the developer that's participating in the affordable housing project. Like all these guidelines are guided by HPD. So I'm guessing one question I have is what are the things that are within your purview as it relates to selecting candidates versus the things that HPD sort of mandates. The other thing which I know is, I know at the last meeting we had, I think Chair Crespo mentioned that 60 days is not a lot of time between the application opening and closing. Like, I think that's also guided by HPD and not by the developer. So those are two questions. And I think one recommendation I would add is for us to get HPD to come in and talk about that process. Because I think, as I put in the chat, the mayor has modified a number of those rules. They've sort of credit is no longer a disqualifying factor, as this meeting has mentioned. But there's a number of other things that I think over the last few years the city has done to make it easier for folks to qualify. And I think it would be good to get an understanding about what those changes have been, and if there's anything that we can work with the council member to, produce legislation to create more transparency around that process, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think, Charlie, I think they're great questions. And, I can't speak, and you guys actually probably know better than I do. I mean, I can't speak about how other marketing people do the work. I can tell you, at least from very limited experience with others, they do some goofy things like they don't put their phone number on the appeal letter. Okay, so people have had to send their appeal in writing. They only have 10 days and the appeal shows up after the 10 days. And again, and for me, I'm like, why would you do that as a marketing agent? Why would you torture people and not give them every opportunity to appeal? Like, it makes no sense to me, but this is what people do. So I think that there are things that I can tell you we do, like our phone number is everywhere. We have a dedicated line. We always put enough staff people on this. Emails are returned, same day. Phone calls are returned same day. We are like crazy about not leaving people out of the process. I cannot speak to other folks, I think so. That's number one. Number two, I think on the criteria, HPD really has eliminated almost everything. I would say the criteria that what we they have a couple of criteria that still hold, and again, I can Rosinda can go through them. One is if you have let's say you're what we call like a shopper, you have many credit cards and they're maxed out, okay? And your income is not that high. There is a ratio that they look at between kind of your outstanding debt and your income, and I think it's $5,000. Rosinda, tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
And
over 5,000.
over 5,000. So if somebody has over $5,000 in kind of revolving debt, and it hits a certain percentage as it relates to your income, and again, that doesn't mean you have to reject them. It just means you could reject them. Okay. So it's something to look at because again, the whole idea here is to really make sure that the person that's going to move in can afford the rent and so what we call willing and able. Okay. So able is, 30% of your income max, right? Willing is what we look at the credit is like if you're paying your rent, and the city did understand if you're paying your rent, you're going to pay if you're paying your rent where you live now, and you're going to pay your rent where you're moving. That is the basic change in how HPD was looking at the world. Okay, that they're going to if and so that's huge.
This meeting, can I ask for a clarifying question?
Yeah,
When you say someone is rejected, who does that rejection?
we do.
Is it and then who does the appeal? Is it HPD?
No. The applicant appeals,
To whom?
and then
To
to
HPD.
us. No, to us. They can always appeal to HPD, and the rejection letter says that and gives them the contact information for HPD right from the get-go. And if they write to HPD calls us, and then we either explain what's going on or we send the file to HPD, and they then review it and say you shouldn't have rejected them or the rejection holds. Okay, so
Excuse me.
Yeah.
One thing with the new Housing Connect is that the new Housing Connect now deems an applicant ineligible from the beginning if they don't qualify. So, usually we used to have to filter and shift the log to figure it out. Now, the Housing Connect itself, once the person applies, and for say, usually if they don't update their information, they'll be able to apply. Or for say, if they're below income, they won't see the project. Or if they're over income, they won't see the project. If they don't input their data correctly, the project will pop up and they can apply. So once the log is generated and we are able to make an outreach, when we are able to batch out an outreach, the outreach and the batch will tell you who's eligible and who is not. So the people who are eligible, those are the people you reach out to. And then the ones that are ineligible, that's how we send the rejection. So basically, the Housing Connect portal is telling you already who's ineligible.
Okay.
So when we reject, after we get the interviews and all the documents, our rejections are based upon review of the file. But the first initial rejections are through Housing Connect.
And that is different. We used to have to do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. We'll find out because this is very new. We will find out whether this is good or not good. Okay. I think it might be for someone like Manny who did not reject people unless they absolutely had to. It might not be as good. But for people who just were out like rejecting like people left and right, the fact that HPD got involved will be very good. So I can't tell because I can only speak for Manny and how we, again, we're so not perfect, but we really, and Rosinda's been doing this for years for us right now, we really, really do not like rejecting people. If you get rejected by Manny, something's wrong, okay? Like really, like either you, you really did not provide correct information, your information is really conflicting, it's not telling something's wrong, misinformation. Your family size is too big. You fall in the cracks between the income bands, which we've also worked really hard with HPD to eliminate these gaps. And or you don't bring all your documents in, and we will give you literally, I mean, we have to cut it off, we have deadlines, but we really, really push. We give people reminders that their documents are missing and please get them in. We don't want to reject you. And the other thing that you can reject people for is criminal activity. But again, here HPD has limited extremely what you can reject people for under the definition of criminal. And basically, you can reject people for criminal activity is terms of a sex offender. And again, they're even allowed to appeal, and you could consider housing them. Okay, based on this happened, 30 years ago, and you've gone through so and what you look at with the criminal background checks, one of the things you're required to look at is how long ago did this event happen? Okay, so you can't just be like, oh, when you were, 24 years old, you did something, stupid, whatever, and you're going to have to pay for this for the rest of your life. No, we're not actually allowed to do that. Well, Manny also doesn't do it, but HPD now says you have to look at this in real time. I think the one thing that we would look for, and we are really clear about, and everyone on this community board knows that we had a fire at 717 Coster that was set by a resident. So one of the things that one of the criteria that I am extremely careful about is arson. So the one I can just say that if somebody has been uh, uh, um, has committed arson, I don't want them. I'll just tell you that. Okay. I think I could probably live with anyone else except an arsonist because I cannot tell you. So anyway, yeah.
So it's many. So since your management company is having this much control over the application process, so when they go into the lottery system, it goes to HPD, and the HPD give you all the candidates.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so then at that point, HPD is out of the equation.
No.
Okay, because
No.
you
They're
know,
never
in
out
the
of the
future,
equation.
in the past, we had an issue, and we've been fighting with HPD for at least the last maybe 8 to 10 years in reference to the 50% preference in our district by zip codes. So my question is, would you have any control of providing the board with that information based on zip codes, the 50% preference in community board 2?
No, and we gave that to you for 700 Renita. I
Yeah.
sent that to
Yes,
Ralph
that
right
was
after the
given to
meeting.
No,
us.
but I'm
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
you've done it
Oh, no,
before.
we
So
will
you'll be
share
willing
that.
to.
Oh, no, we will share that
Okay,
information to
wonderful.
you
Oh,
on a regular basis. I mean, we
okay.
can,
Thank you so
yeah,
much. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
But remember, for the zip code, it's 3 different zip codes. It's not just one for
No,
community board.
she's just saying for all the zip codes, they want to
Oh,
know
okay.
that the CB2, yeah,
Okay.
Paula meant all, she
Okay.
wants to know that everyone, that we're tracking by CB2, all 3 zip
Okay. I
codes.
can send it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
Handwritten stuff.
going back to I'm sorry guys, going back to Charlie's statement. I don't know if it was a question or statement or just something that he wanted to input on. Will HPD be willing to come in and do what Charlie requested? Charlie, your request was to do the provide the
So,
updated information of the.
I mean, there's 3 things that I think are important here. One is maybe HPD can give it to us in writing, or Asmini can provide it in writing. Just like what are the roles and responsibilities between a developer and HPD, and if there is a disagreement about something, like who has the ultimate decision? Because I've always been under the impression that like HPD is the one that does all the picking of the residents, and not the developer. The second piece, I think, to the very valuable information that was provided recently, it's just like, HPD has a lot of privacy concerns around, like, well, we can't tell you who lives in the building and where they came from. Like, okay, so maybe can you do a simulation to show us how this operates on your end, and like we can see how this stuff works when someone is accepted or rejected, or what information has to happen, so that maybe community board staff can help someone through the process as they're trying to apply to troubleshoot some of those. And then third, I think, whether through legislation or something else, getting HPD to provide some type of transparency and reporting, so that, I've heard it over and over again, both when I wasn't on the community board and most recently when I joined, like, people that live in these buildings aren't from this community. I don't know that. I don't go into these buildings. I don't know who is from this community or not. Someone could have moved from the very far stretches of community board 2, and I don't know who that is, to sort of make an accusation that this media or some other developer is giving away housing to someone that's not from community board 2. So is there a process by which HPD can provide some transparency to say, in XYZ building of Spofford or some other building that, say, management has, the percentage of residents that currently live in that building, 75% were originally from community board 2, or whatever that number is. And they don't need to give us names or any other kind of identifying information, but at least a report that says, and can provide clarity to folks, to hold them accountable, to say, okay, well, this building is only 60, or this other building is 50, whatever those numbers are.
Yeah.
I think us understanding, so that we can advocate appropriately for changes in policy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I can
Charlie,
answer
yeah,
that. I can
yeah.
answer that.
Thanks,
So,
Ralph.
Charlie,
Thanks.
just know, let's just say there's 700 apartments here, right? Total in the Peninsula project, right? With all 4 of the housing buildings, 740 apartments, if I'm not mistaken. They're gonna get over 100,000 applications for that, and it's Manny's job now to, they'll get them with the 50% preference, right? And there's like a 5% preference for ADA. I don't know if this project is going to have a preference for city employees, but there's a
Yes.
priority list
Yes,
for
there
that.
is.
And the 50%, they have to fill up the 50% from community board 2, which is 10459, 10455, and all of 10474. So
Yes.
it's Jeannie in the past, like when her building on 700 Manida, she's given us, these are the number of applications we received. These are the number of applications that were from board 2, and met the minimum requirement of the 50% from board 2. She gives us that breakdown.
No,
That's
that's
the developer. That's not HPD's job to
no,
do that. We
I
we've
don't
asked
think
HPD.
I would disagree. I think if Ismini is doing that because she's out of her own volition and because she wants to be a good community partner, that's awesome. But if she can do that, then why can't HPD do it? And HPD in the
Right.
past put up a bunch of roadblocks of why they can't, and then the council, somebody else introduces legislation that forces them to report the very thing that we've been asking for, that someone's been giving us on a
Yes,
voluntary basis.
we've always invite HPD to the housing this committee. Unfortunately, they're not here now, but we can certainly reach out and request exactly what you're saying. Do a simulation of once they once it goes live, how they receive the applications and how they distribute that to the developer.
Yeah.
Um,
I
they're
mean,
going to say
Ralph,
there that that's it, that's their involvement. That's it. Now is
but
the developer to do the interviewing for the apartments. But I will kindly ask HPD to attend next month's housing committee meeting to give us exactly what you're requesting, a stimulation of a, play by play from once it goes live to them giving it to the developer. And then what other involvement can they be as far as breaking down the number of applications? Because HPD does not accept them. The developer, in this case Manny, the management company, accepts the applicants. So, but
Ralph,
Ismini, just next month we might need you
yeah.
to come
No,
back.
I'll come back.
If
No, I'll come back,
HPD
but I just want
confirms
to
that they
say,
will be here, we
yeah,
want, because then we could use like even 700 Renaida
yep,
as
yep.
an example, and then what the process will play out for La Peninsula. Does that
I
answer,
think,
Charlie, what you're looking to do
but
here?
I actually
What
want,
you're
but
asking?
Ralph, I just want to say something I don't mean to interrupt you. I think Charlie is correct. We absolutely do this of our own volition. I don't know if there's a huge amount of building going on in Hunts Point and in CB2. I don't know. I mean, I know you've asked every developer. I don't know if they gave you their stats. HPD has these stats. We give them to HPD also. So HPD absolutely has them because you, as the marketing agent, me as the marketing agent, am required to meet these requirements. And if I don't meet them, HPD has to give me permission to do something else. So I have to meet them. So HPD knows if each of the developments in your neighborhood in CB2 have met the requirements or not. And there is no reason why they shouldn't share that with you. And you could go developer by developer, but what Charlie's saying is, yes, of course we do that when they come, we tell them, but why not also ask HPD to just confirm with us that, like, yeah, no one wants to be at a meeting and hear the units went to, whatever, Queens, Queens residents, and you want to be able to say, the board members want to be able to say, look, you might not know this person, but they did reside in CB2, okay? Like the people on the peninsula side don't know the people on the other side. They never cross under and over, right? And so maybe I didn't know that Rosa Santana got an apartment because I didn't know her. That doesn't mean she's not from CB2. So I actually think, and I can help you, Ralph. I can help you um, draft like the email to HPD because I think if we're doing it, if Manny's doing it, everyone can do it, and HPD can also do it. And
Draft me,
and and
But
draft
it's
me
meaning in the
the
past,
wording. Draft me the wording, and I'll
okay,
certainly send
great,
it off.
Ralph,
great,
Ralph,
just a note of reference, it's meaning this is our battle with HPD as far as the community preference with the zip codes. According to the Bronx liaison, Mr. Weissman, it would be a privacy issue. And as we spoke to him numerous times in the past and throughout the years, we're not asking for people's names or social security cards. We're just
right,
asking for the zip codes. So
right,
I'm glad you're on board with that, and I hope it
yeah.
works with HPD to work with us and not against us. And that's what I want to
Yeah,
with.
I
Ralph,
think,
Ralph.
yeah, I don't understand. I mean, Rosinda and I put this together, like Ralph asked, from the last meeting, we threw it, because we're tracking it. So It's, I don't understand. I didn't give you a single person's name. If you want to meet people, you got to stand outside and say hi to them. I mean, I'm with you, Paula. I'm with all of you guys, and I think if I'm doing it, everyone should do it. I agree with you. So I'm
Okay,
happy to
so,
draft this out and try to help get,
thank
get
you.
Paula,
some
you
sharing of
have
data.
Chairman Crespo with his
Chairman
hand raised
Crespo.
also,
Yeah.
Paula.
Yeah, Ralph, before I ask my question, I think that what Charlie is suggesting is correct. And I think that one of the things we should do is put everything sort of in writing, what we would like to see from HPD from now on, and not just from us citywide, since our district, our councilman will be, I believe, still the chairman of the land use and land use committee, and forward it to him and have him have a hearing with HPD and let him ask those questions why they cannot provide the community board on their preference part. Why can't they provide that to the community and to the community board, or at least to the councilman's office, so like that there'll be no problems. I think
I
that
know I'm not going to defend HPD here, but I know pre-pandemic they did come to this committee to give a presentation exactly of what we're describing now, of what the process is. Like I said, that was pre-pandemic. I will be more than happy to
but
ask Ted to
Ralph,
come back and to give the presentation again. That's
not
not a
not to
problem.
debate, but just I think that what Charlie has stated, they have the information, and there is no reason why they can't make it available. And if it's a thing about legislation, then maybe we can speak to our councilman about the legislation part and follow it through on that side.
No,
Um,
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. Because they did pass the buck on the developer. Now he's
right,
telling us, yeah, but we report this back to HPD. So
right.
why can't they give it to us? I totally agree. I'm just, letting you know that I know they came and gave us a presentation. I'm gonna ask them to do it again, but this time be um requesting that HPD provides us the tally of community preference apartments for each project that comes up. So I know, and Sweeney brought up a point about other developers. We've had other developers.
Yes.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
the one on Reverend James Polite, that
Mm-hmm.
building also was one of the newer developments that they did give us. They provided us the breakdown of the number of applications,
And so
the
has
number of units,
PRC with that
and
project on Fifth.
PRC. Yes, yes. So we do get the information from the developer or the management company, not from HPD. So what
And
we're
it
So
would
going to
can
request
and it would be
HPD.
good. It would be good if HPD then can give us the information, and then we can cross-reference and make sure that we're not being blindsided or being told one
Exactly.
thing on one
Correct.
side.
Correct. We can do that. That's fine.
Okay.
But
He's
it's me. If you want to word something and send it over to
Yep,
me,
absolutely. Yep.
just know
can I
that for
just
next
ask
month meeting,
make another statement, please? You guys
you still have Bobby with his hand raised. So Bobby has some
okay,
questions for you,
Bobby.
Paula.
No. Most of my questions were answered by either Charlie or Ralph or you, Madam Chair, or Ismini. The only thing that I do have a concern with is that Ismini, you had stated that that you would be using. There's a possibility, not that you would be using. There's a possibility that you could reuse the existing list of like 700 Monida on your outreach.
In
Um,
addition,
in
Bobby, in addition, not,
in
yeah,
addition,
yeah,
but
in
not
addition.
originally. Am I correct?
What do you mean
You would
No,
originally?
not
you would have to handle all the new applications before you go to the Monida listing. Am I correct?
No, we're not, no. We would let the people who applied for Monida, who did not get in,
Right.
no, we would make sure they knew to apply to 720 Tiffany.
Okay.
And
All right.
again, only the CB2 people. We don't really care about anybody else,
All
okay?
right. All right.
So,
Thank you.
and then, so what we try to do is flood the lottery. So all we talked about before about getting the word out, making sure people's lottery accounts are correct. And is we want more people from CB2 to apply more,
Okay.
and that gives
Okay.
them their chances of not only making the 50% number, but then having more log numbers and getting more of them, so our goal is to get like as many CB2 people as possible, because the citywide people are applying, they're just hitting click, 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 click,
Right,
click,
right,
and
right.
they, and then some of them reject, they don't even want to live here, they
Yeah.
just they're just blindly clicking. And that's a waste of our time, because we have to process them, and then we're like, oh, I don't want to be here. Well, why'd you apply?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
hear you.
and
So,
so,
excuse me, could
yeah.
someone
Uh,
mute their phone? I hear background
That's the
laughter.
caller. That's Ismini's entourage.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to ask one
No,
more.
but just
Okay.
very quickly for you, Madam Chair, as well as for Ismini, I always recommend this one location because I think it's big enough for you guys to do an in-person type of operation if needed. And that is the Open Arms over on
Oh,
Westchester
yes.
here and 161. Uh, First of all, they have a lot of seniors there. So maybe some of those seniors don't know about this. Maybe some of them qualify for this. And they may, if you speak, Paula, if you call Jennifer
Okay.
and ask her, maybe she can make the place available one night to do this. She has made it available for the FOP.
Okay.
I know that this would be a larger group, and
Yes.
she needs to be told that. So, like that, if there's any situations that occur that needs to be addressed, it could be addressed. As to the COVID situation, as long as I think one of the applicants is immunized from the vaccine, that person can come in. If another person is not, then that person can't come in. But I'm sure that they would have enough information from the other individual if it's a joint name application. But just to give you an idea of Open Arms, don't when you're talking about this side of the world of the Bruckner Boulevard, it's not just the Southern Boulevard and there's also a little bit further up to Prospect Avenue that also is part of Board 2. So I would like for maybe Open Arms to you look at that, and also just I was just curious about the outreach. That's all.
So just a
Thank you.
point of correction, Chairman Crespo, did you say something about unvaccinated people cannot be there? I know you mentioned
Well,
something
if you're
about-
having an open meeting, I don't think that you don't want to do a super spreader.
No, as long as they have a mask on and social
Oh yeah,
distancing. As far as,
But if they don't have any of the what's required to be part of the meeting, then I don't think they can be let in.
Yeah, we'll follow
And what
whatever
I'm saying,
the city protocol, we'll have to follow whatever the city protocols are on
okay,
right,
so
COVID. Yeah.
right.
I
I
have
think we'll be
a
better off
comment
with
I got to make also here.
yes.
And I don't know what Jennifer's protocols are because she's guided by, I think, Department of Social Services. I'm not sure, but whatever it may be, if she says yes, then we have to abide by those protocols on that side also, if she can allow people to come in.
Charlie got a question here, and I do believe Manny is a housing ambassador. I know that HPD views Ismini as like an ambassador to this process. Am I correct, Ismini?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. My question now, or my comment, is regarding this flyer. I don't know how quickly it was made, but for where it says transit, like the 4 and the C does not run here. So
Oh, I think we made a mistake. You're right.
the
I'm sorry. The
2,
4 and the
the
5.
2, the 5, and the 6 train. And for the buses, you indicate the 6 bus, but we also have the 46 bus that runs
The
actually close,
19, the
and the
35, the
19
27,
and the 19 bus. So
and the
That's
11.
why, oh, good.
if you
That's
want
why
to
we
just
send it to
indicate
you guys, so you can fix it. Okay, good. So
yeah,
the
yeah.
2, the 5, and the 6,
The 2,
and
the
then,
5, they run on Simpson and Prospect,
right.
and then the 6
No,
train,
the
Hunts Point
17
Longwood.
runs. Also, the 17 runs on Prospect.
Yeah, but the 46 bus runs right across the street from here. It runs right
Right,
on
right. It
Longwood
goes
Avenue
down Longwood
to
into
Tiffany.
the peninsula.
Right,
Right.
and
And then the 19 also, right?
yeah,
The
Southern
19.
The
Boulevard.
19, the 27, the 35, and the 11.
Yeah, because those are
Okay,
all around
19,
West
27,
Bronx.
35, 11, as well as the 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Got it.
well, those are all in Community Board 2. So I just
Okay,
think you
great.
should indicate that also.
Good. We'll fix that. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just, I noticed
perfect.
that one of your team members said something about the new Housing Connect portal. Does the new Housing Connect portal allow people to make corrections if they submitted
Yes,
years ago an email that doesn't exist
yes,
anymore? Does it make provisions for
yes.
that?
Yeah, and I'm gonna
Okay.
help Larry fix his. Yeah,
All
he
right.
wrote
Thank
in the
you.
chat. I'm gonna help him fix his.
Thank you. Okay. Is there
So
any
I
more
just want to
questions?
clarify
Yes.
something. Ismini, you said regarding the workshops, you're looking to do one with Maria at the Point and with Paloma at Urban Health. Is that
And
correct?
now, oh, yes, and now I'm gonna and if Paula wants to reach out to Jennifer and then let me know, we can absolutely look at open arms.
Okay. And I'm going to find out the protocol for her
And yeah,
location.
and then we're gonna do 2 virtually. I think we'll work on this tomorrow. We'll work on, and then we'll correct the transit, and then we will select 2 virtual times, and we will put them on this document.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any more questions or statements or comments that anyone wants to have with the presentation?
I do
Paula,
see.
I just,
I'm
um,
sorry, Ismini, but I do know.
yeah,
I see Larry on. You talked about him, and I see Maggie's here. I know that Maggie sat on the committee to
Right.
yeah.
oversee this from the community board. I don't know if she has anything, and we are joined by committee member Paul Martinez, who
Hi,
works
Paul.
for a management company in our district. If Paul has any
Hello.
input.
No, I'm actually good. Every question you guys ask, and I agree with both sides. I think developers should be able to show everything off, and HPD should just mandate this already. I don't understand what's taking so long.
Mm, okay. Thank you.
Ralph, and Maggie, please ask anything you have from us. But I just wanted, Charlie also mentioned the 60 days. I just wanted to respond to all of his comments. So Charlie, that is absolutely mandated by HPD. Um, uh, and, you know, there are a couple of issues. One is if it goes longer, um, it kind of, um, I don't know that there's that much benefit. I think what it forces us to really do is really, especially since the criteria have really loosened, it's our job to really, really make sure that the folks in the neighborhood are aware of this project and have the opportunity to be able to put their information correctly so that they will be deemed eligible for this project in the Housing Connect. And that, I guess if we had 90 days, we could do more of it. But, and a lot of that. So I think we just have to work hard with before the 60 days and then during the 60 days. Because again, just so folks know, in case they don't know, the lottery is not based on a first come, first serve. If you're the first to apply or if you're the last to apply, it has nothing to do with what number you will get in that lottery. So we have a full 60 days to work with people to apply in the lottery. But it's something you can bring up. The other reason I would not ask for more time is HPD and HDC takes so long from the day we ask to start putting the ad together to get it out the door and the time it takes to get HPD or HDC approval to post that ad. I don't even want to tell you how long it is, okay? And they've had really big staff shortages there. And so I mean, this 720 should have gone out to market earlier, okay? Because as you know from hearing the presentations on the peninsula, this building is supposed to be done in January. So if I'm not starting real marketing until November, 60 days takes me to the end of December. It takes me time to get started vetting people. We're not leasing up when the building's done. You know what I mean? We're leasing up after the building is TCO'd. So again, so 90 days would just push that out and then you'd have a completed vacant building longer, basically, because of HPD's kind of slowness on the front end. So again, that's not an excuse. I'm not defending. It's just a reality. It's definitely something we can ask them about. Like, why does it take them so long to like get these started, since they know exactly what they need to do. They do it over and over and over again, and they can't do it faster. And I don't know why. So anyway, I just wanted to answer those questions too.
I have
Again,
a
Ralph,
question regarding the applications, Ismini. All applications are going through the portal? Are there gonna be any
Yes,
like hard applications?
yes, there are. And I think, so I really feel that in CB2, we need to find a way to get paper applications to people and get them in. We
Just a
did not have an
suggestion,
enormous
just a
number of
suggestion.
paper, and I think that the population, senior, thinking about who we do know in the neighborhood, access to computers, I really am concerned that the paper applications really do need to get out in CB2.
Just a suggestion then, when you're doing these workshops, maybe you can have the applications on hand, the hard copies.
Yep,
And the
yep,
issue now with our board is that the building is still closed. We're not open to the public. So we won't be able to, people will come and pick up applications. We're not able to entertain that at the moment. So I think
right.
following up with wherever you're having the workshops, even if you cannot provide the hard applications the day of the workshops,
No,
um,
no, we can. We
those
can.
would be locations then where you can at least drop them off, and people
Yep,
will know that
yep,
they can follow back up and follow up there. But
yep,
I know that ERC in particular was like trying to give us all these applications and hard applications, and I'm like, I can't accept them. And we ended up trying to. We only took a little bit, but there's no way for us to give them out.
right,
Also,
right,
so
right.
just so moving forward with that. Thank you.
Yep, yep.
Ismini, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're saying 60 days from November. We have quite a few holidays that fall in.
Yeah, I know.
And,
So they
and
skip the holidays. So Bobby, they skip them. So it's 60 days plus holidays.
so, so
It's like,
for
so it'll be
instance,
like 70 days or something like that. Whatever. It'll
okay,
be
all
like,
right, thank you.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay. Any more, anyone else has any input on this presentation? Okay, so
Hey.
now,
Hi, Paula.
hi,
Ray.
hi, Ray. We could barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. That better?
Uh, I don't hear you.
You don't hear me?
Oh, yeah, a little. It's a little.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ray.
Um,
I hear you.
Oh, okay. So, I was listening in. I just wanted to go back to one of the first things that was mentioned with respect to trying to reach out to the point and maybe getting an assistance to facilitate some sessions for the community members. If I can help, I have space in the banknote that I might be able to help you guys do some of those sessions. Free of charge,
Thank you.
as long as it's free to the
Raymond, that's so
community.
nice. Do you want to give me your email, Raymond?
Yep,
I'm
it's
writing.
it's in the chat.
Oh, you put it
Um,
in. Okay, hold on. I'll grab it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Great.
you so
I
much,
think
Ray.
I'm so bad. I don't use the chat well. Okay, I got it. Let
That's
me
fine.
find it.
Cynthia will copy
It's my
everything.
name at gmail.com, but
Yeah,
Okay, great.
we'll send it out. We'll send out all the information from the chat. That's not a problem.
yeah, if
Okay.
there's something I can help with, please. I do a lot of community events here, obviously. And my rule is as long as it's free to the community, it's free for me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ray.
All right.
All right, anyone else? Okay, so thank you, Ismini, for filling us in with such great information on the follow-up and discussion of the workshops.
I
And
just got one more thing. I'm sorry, Paula. Ismini, that flyer, you're gonna update it and send it back to us, right? So
I
then
am.
I don't want
Yep.
to
It's
post
not going,
that with
that's
that
why
information.
it didn't go out. I was not,
Okay.
we wanted to have it ready to show you tonight so you could correct it. And we're gonna put in the dates and then we're gonna get it out. We'll send it, Ralph, I'm gonna send it to you and Cynthia one more time, make sure I don't make any other mistakes, and then we'll get it, and then we'll circulate. We'll start hitting the ground.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Madam Chair, before this meeting goes, I just want to tell her, I want to apologize on behalf of the board and on behalf of this committee on a situation that occurred last month. I really am very sorry of what you went through, and we hope to be addressing this issue very soon.
Thank you. And I hope you know that I'm doing my best and I'm always open to doing better. So
I know
please,
you
please know that.
are. I know you are, but what you went through and the allegations, I trust me. Anyway, I just want you to know
I
that
really appreciate it.
on behalf of the board, on behalf of me personally, because I know your heart, I know where you're at, and uh, what was said, and and what you went through, uh, it affected a lot of people that's on this committee, affected a lot of people on the board. So I just want you to know that on behalf of everybody, I wish to apologize to you for that.
Really appreciate it.
I would
I was
also like
so
to
upset.
apologize. Yeah, no, I would also like to apologize in that matter also, Ismini. I'm so very sorry.
Thank you. I really
Ismini,
appreciate it.
is it possible, could you send me a private chat with your number so I could
Yep.
have it? Thank you
Yep,
so much.
absolutely. Yep. Sending it now.
Okay.
Thank you, Ismini.
Thank you all for everything. We'll be in touch very soon, Paul. I'm sending you my number and my email.
Thank you, Ismini.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay.
Have a
good
good night,
evening.
everybody.
Good night.
You too.
So moving forward, do we have any old business to discuss on the agenda?
Yes, we do have some old business. I see Justin is still here. I just want to let this committee and the body know that we did submit the text amendments through the portal with the recommendation that all text amendments go through community board for input and recommendations. So I just want to thank Justin because that was a very long process. We're talking like since May, I think we started this text amendment stuff. So just and there was presentations at this committee. Just want you to know that everything went through smooth. Thanks to Cynthia.
Thank you. Okay, is there any new business?
Yeah, well, we'll wait. V.
Hello, B?
Hello, Cynthia.
I'm sorry. So we just wanted to remind everybody that they're having the annual Halloween parade October 23rd. I'll send out the flyer to everyone who attended the meeting. And everyone's welcome to come march with their families, with their work, with whoever they want to.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so is there any we just discussed new business. Okay, so that's it for the new business. Any announcements?
The only announcement is Ralph named earlier today the 3 new board members that are a part of your committee. Ralph, can you give the names again? Because I right off the top.
Yeah.
Coverdale,
Who?
Paul Coverdale, Jonathan Martier, and Charlie Samboy.
Jonathan who?
Martier.
Martir.
M-A.
RTIR.
Okay. And what was
And Charlie Samboy.
No, I know I got Charlie, but the
Paul
first one,
Coverdale.
Paul. How do you spell his last name?
COVERDALE.
Okay.
And
they're
I'm sorry.
currently on my housing committee?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Okay.
Yes, those are 3 new members you have. You have 6 board members and 2 committee members.
2 other announcements. So Salamanca's doing a helmet giveaway October 30th for kids over at 52 Park. Once I get the flyer, I'll send it out. I just wanted to give you guys the heads up. And the precinct with Rhea Royal Community Council, they're doing a trunk or treat. And maybe he can give you a little more information on that. Don't forget the prayer march. Oh, and we're having a prayer. We're having a prayer march. I'll send the flyer for that. I have the flyer too. But Ray could speak more on that.
Whoever that was, thank him, Cynthia, because yeah, we heard that. Don't forget it.
Yeah, so hi.
The precinct council meeting also, Ray, you could talk about that.
Yes, so precinct council meeting is tomorrow, via Zoom. And Cynthia has a flyer. Additionally, this Sunday, we're doing a national community prayer and police event. And
What
we're
day is that?
starting, and we're gonna start at Bishop Rodriguez's church on Garrison Avenue. And we're gonna march to the precinct, and then we'll have light refreshments there and have an opportunity to meet up with other clergymen and other people in the community and just have a nice prayerful afternoon. So this is at Sunday at 2:00.
This Sunday.
This Sunday, yes. Sorry for the short notice, but we were notified we could do this at the last minute. But it's not something we typically do, and so we jumped on it, and sometimes all you need is a little prayer in life. So and then on the other side, take away the halo, let's put on the horns and celebrate Halloween and be a little mischievous. So this will be the third year that we've done a trunk or treat in front of the precinct. I'd like to point out it's the only real Halloween event on Halloween for the community, for the kids, and no costume necessary. Just come by, have some time, have the kids pick up some candy. I got a donation today of little pumpkins from the Hunts Point Food Market, the produce market, and you'll see me in costume. You'll see officers in costume, inflatables, and the key is to provide a safe place for kids to really enjoy the holiday. It's there's a lot of other things that happen on Halloween typically that aren't as nice. So this is a nice event. It's our third year doing it.
Ray, that's on October 31st?
Yes, sir. On a Sunday. We'll probably start around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Just as the sun is beginning to set. Just for
Thank
the
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Paula? Well, Cynthia's
She
in.
got booted. Yeah, I think she got booted off.
No,
She's
I'm
here.
here. I'm here.
Okay, no,
I'm
she's here.
sorry. Ray,
Cynthia, can you make sure you get the chat stuff?
I got
There's
it.
a lot of information there. Perfect. Thank you, Cyn.
Ray, can I ask you a question on the prayer march? I see that it's the Hunts Point side. Will you be doing one on the Longwood side?
So the event is only this weekend from Friday through Monday. So we're starting on our side of the Bruckner at the Bishop's Church on Garrison Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're finishing up in front of the precinct. And that's where everyone is asked to, if they're not part of the march, just to meet us at the precinct. And we continue from there. And at that point, we'll have.
So will you be going through the Garrison, going to Garrison to Tiffany, going to the precinct, or will you go from Garrison all the way to Intervale and go to the precinct?
I think we're going right now, we're tentatively going Garrison to Longwood and Longwood to the precinct. And this is because of the traffic pattern. There are no pedestrian crosswalks anymore, except at Longwood Avenue.
Okay.
You can't cross at Tiffany anymore. And for the
Okay.
safety reasons, because of the construction, that's the safest and most direct route.
By the
Thank
way,
you.
Ray, Ralph is sending Assemblyman Burgos and Assemblymember Septimo, letters stating that we want to meet with the state DOT on that that covers the Intervale, Tiffany all the way to 149th Street project in Ward 2. So
I'm available if you need some support.
Thank you.
It has a big impact from a community business perspective.
No, I know.
My tenants can't get across safely.
No, you're
from the
right.
subway station.
You're right. Trust me, I couldn't get across myself, and I'm driving.
Yeah. Oh, driving. I don't even try anymore. I go around and I go west now. I go towards Manhattan and take the Triborough.
Well, you guys almost lost me. Maybe somebody would have thrown a parade then, but, but anyway, I know what you mean by the situation.
So much, guys, for that conversation. All right, so could someone please motion to adjourn the meeting?
Must be a committee member.
On
Paul,
my committee, that's what I meant, sorry.
Paul's the only one here with you now.
Oh, okay, Paul, could you make a motion to, adjourn the meeting, please? Is he there? Paul?
He was
You got
usually
Mute.
driving
I was
home.
trying to take off that. I was driving, but I was trying to take the mute. I kept hitting it with my finger.
I'm like, he's
I
usually
motion.
driving home at this time.
No, I'm still driving. I'm still working. I motion to.
Thank you, Paul. Can I get a
No
second?
problem.
Okay, thank you.
You have to second it, Paul.
I am, as I said, I'm gonna second that motion.
All right. So that's it.
Thank
Meeting
you.
is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody.
Chat,
Good
right?
night. Thank
Good
you
night,
so
everyone.
much, Ismini and Wasunda and Larissa. Thank you, guys. And everyone
All right.
else. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
All
Good
right.
night.
Safe.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Safe.
Bye.